Doing today? Hey, good morning up there. How's everybody in the Hit Run Candlesticks trading room? Sure glad you're here. Hello, Bill, Jim, Gary, Alan, Mike. It's the only names I can see right now. Bart, good morning. Good morning. Morning, everyone. Um, so let's take a peek at the market here. Whoops, I've got a need a light up here turned on, but that's all right. We'll turn it on later. Um, hey, let's go to the spine here real quick. So yesterday, at the end of the day, I mentioned that I think we're going to probably bounce today, and right now that's what it's looking like. But a bounce, I don't, be careful. I wouldn't chase that bounce. Good morning, Vern. How are you? Um, I wouldn't chase it too much. Ultimately, we need to get through this line right there. That's the 50% from the high to the lows. That's also the 50 period moving average. And as long as we stay under the 50 period moving average, I have to remain more toward the seller side, the bear side. Hard to get long. There's some charts setting up, maybe that have pulled back that look good, but there better be good reason here moving up. Otherwise, we could just end up. Excuse me, had a coughing fit just a moment ago. We could end up doing the same thing that we've been doing here, just up and back, and up and back. So we really do need to clear this area. This is going to be very, very important. So right now, in that, actually a little higher, 674. That's, we talked about that yesterday. These highs over here. So let's get above the 50, and then we'll worry about that 674 taking out this these candles right over here. If you take a look at the diamonds here, diamonds are down to that 100 period moving average. There's a lot down there, and that could save us. Just like the SPY we're down there. So we could see that move to the upside. But again, to have the market on your side and have everything bullish again, I think we're going to have to be above that 50 period moving average. One of the best short setups out there, I think, is the blue ice failure. So if we come up again and fail that 50 period moving average, that could happen. Just like this. See, we're below the 50. We came up and we failed it. That's a blue ice failure there. And that could happen again. So this is going to be a very important level there. Qs, same thing. Everything's sitting about that 100 period moving average. Needs to be above 50. Let's run through some charts that are, we'll say, notable, I guess. Take a look at the mags here. Clearly, let's see here. Clearly in a downtrend. The trend indicator here is still green, so I'm sorry, red. That maybe that's a good omen. That's still red. Price is below the T line. T line is below the trend indicator. And now the trend indicator, the trend indicator is below the 50 period moving average. This is not smelling very good at all. It really isn't. It doesn't mean that it can't be fixed. We just need to be back on top of that 50 period moving average. It's as simple as that. So if we do continue to the downside, right here is our what we call the dotted deuce. It's just a modified 200 period moving average right here. So that's what I would be looking for if we see more downside here. Google, I think, is still in great shape. Google's bullish. Man, look at that run here. Look at those green dots. And that's what it's all about. The green dots, that's the trend I use, and the 8 EMA is on top of that trend, and then we'll look to trade price action. I think it's setting up to move a little higher. Google's on a run. Google's rocking. RSP, not so good. That's just darn right ugly. The only thing going for RSP is that we're nearing that 200 period moving average, and that could create a bounce. It could create a relief rally. So, a relief rally back up. The thing of it is, it's got to keep going. And we know it's not going to do that. But we might run into some resistance about right here, maybe something like that. and then, pull back and test, and then over several days, break out. That could happen. Um, and that would be bullish. That would be a good sign that the bulls are really coming back in, and it's not just a wimpy, bouncy move. So, but right now, RSP is looking horrible. But the good thing is it's near a major moving average. That could create some movement. Microsoft, ugly. But then again, here we are nearing that 200 period moving average, and that could cause a relief rally in here. And that could cause, because it's down enough, that could cause a relief rally that could really make some money for somebody. A lot of money can be made in relief rallies. So if it does start to run up, I mean, first place we're going to look for uh, profit taking would be 490, 450, then somewhere around 505, and then up here at 513. Let it settle out, and who knows, it might move up higher. But like I said, the only good thing about it is we're nearing the 200 period. Amazon, I know there's a lot of people in the room looking at Amazon, and we could be nearing that buy point here. Once again, we're at the 200 period moving average, and that could create that relief rally that could run us up toward that 50 period moving average. Um, we break through and hold that. Now we're looking at something um, uh, worthwhile. Get a nice trend. Nothing wrong with buying it in here. Just make sure that you've got your stop in. Watch it closely, because if the market starts to tank even more, that's going to cause Amazon. Nothing is immune to moving down. Take a look at some copper. Copper's down. Here we have a high, lower high, and I'll double top or lower high. We're moving down. We're setting up that blue ice failure. In fact, it is. Um, so here we're below the 50. We rallied up and failed it, and there we are. Maybe we muster up the energy to get higher, but as we get higher, something we're going to have to look at is that downtrend. We could easily do that. The next move down would be about that 100 period moving average down there. So keep an eye on copper. Apple. Apple. I'm still holding my Apple. We'll see what happens here. But it it kind of looks to me like it's slowly drifting. So let's just draw some line of these tops, something like that. Maybe there we go. I'm just connecting this top and that top right there. And then let's come over here, and I'm going to start back here at this blue dot, and that takes the 50 period moving average all the way back to its beginning. And then I'm just going to go up here like this and make sure I'm right on the 50 at that, the end of it. And it just looks like we're drifting toward that 50 period moving average. So I don't know who's in it. Yeah, don't know who's in it, but I'm continuing to hold it. I probably hold it even if it drifts to the 50, and that's maybe where I'll buy more. Meta is still in that buy area here. If you want to do some bottom picking, right there at 574.26, that's the 500 period moving average, and it does look like we're trying to put in a little bit of a shelf here, but we've done that before with no success. So for me, it's like, well, wait for the success. The success that I would want to see is some bulls really coming in. And right now, a little candle like that, bulls aren't coming in. See that little, doji, that open body? That's not bulls coming in. This is bulls coming in. Make a statement, and bottom picking. Be careful. Let the bulls come in. Let it be a big bull, something substantial. And now we have a trade, maybe back to the 200 up here, or even up to the 50 period moving average. So, but Meta might be one of those to keep that, keep on that watch list. Tesla, a lot of people following Tesla here. So Tesla, let's do this. We're going to take this low, and we'll go up to this high right here. And I guess we could, go up to that blue line. I think that would do it as well. Go up that blue line, And it does look like we've made a higher low here. So if that's the case, Tesla start moving up. Once it breaks out, that becomes the new tradable bottom, and that's where it may bring in some good buyers for Tesla. And those that are holding Tesla, you could see maybe a good move back up. Still looking for it to move up in that 480, 490, maybe even 500 bucks. USO. USO has been in a sad, sad little downtrend here, just trickling down. Um, so it gaps down and puts a little, pre-market here. It's putting in a little hammer. I have to say, so what, until it proves something. So, the trend has got to change. We need something in the trend. I suppose we could take these lows and maybe tag that high, but we're a far cry from moving back over some of these moving averages to show that the bulls really have uh, some movement with them. So, even if USO started moving up, you got to know that you're going to see a little bit of rest in there. And then if it, starts to do that, starting to move over, say 74, some of these moving averages here. Okay, now we may have something going in USO. And of course, by then there'll be plenty oil stocks that are already moving. We'll be able to see that. Those individual stocks that are driving this up. SMH, sad pullback here. We're in that blue ice failure area. Again, we're bouncing off the 100. Maybe we get that relief rally, but we don't know if that relief rally is actually going to follow through. That's going to be the key. So we might get a relief rally today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, early next week. We might even get right back up here. We're going to need to break out of that and then show that we can pull back and test and then hold and maybe go up. So, be careful not to get suckered in to something that is not going to follow through, uh, or just be, really quick to take those profits. Don't be afraid to take those profits. If say somebody's trading SMH here, and let's just put a little box right here. All right. Now, let's do it this way. So let's just say today's a pretty nice day. Okay, go SMH. We're starting to cook, aren't we? So you buy SMH and you're holding SMH. You think you're the smartest cat in the room. And then we move up here. All right, smoking hot, right? Take the profits. Take the profits. But wait, don't take the profits. There's always somebody, there's always somebody with a little more greed out there. No, man, I'm going to hold it. This thing's going to rock. Well, now let's think about it. You see that number right there? 2.47. 2.47. So if you take your profits somewhere, that could be the max number. So if you take your profits here and then all of a sudden it gaps up maybe to here and starts moving, that's the max number you're giving up. That's what you're leaving on the table. And you know, lose the greed at the door, give up that 2.47% or less, and you can get back in it. Keep that in mind. So when we run into those headwinds, that ceiling, take those profits, put them in your pocket, and if it moves up higher, get back in it because what you're actually giving up is very, very little, very, very little. It's not worth the risk. As let's talk about risk for a second. Everybody looks at, well, I have to have a good entry to lower my risk. Where do I put my stop? Because I have to put risk in. But what some people fail to realize, something else that's that's risk, there we go, is your dollars, the dollars that you've made. So if you're in this, boom, boom, you're up there, right there where we could fail. You're risking by not taking your dollars, you're risking your dollars. And, let's put as much effort into protecting our dollars as we do about thinking we're going to get some smoking hot entry, something like that. So, anyway, take that money. If it starts moving up higher, you can always get back in it. And what are you giving up? Very, very, very little to protect that. The dollar. Sorry, I could talk about that all day long. Let's take a look at Nvidia. Nvidia to the downside. What I would be looking at down there is uh, if we start failing back down here about this 165 area, and then possibly this 150 area. Now you can see Nvidia is trying to put in a little hammer here, pre-market, trying to do that. But Nvidia's got to clear so much right now. We could put a trend line on there like that, and then so Nvidia comes up. All right, good for Nvidia. It's still a chart, okay? Nvidia is not anything special. It's just big, but it's not special. It's still a chart, and it still requires buyers to go make it go up, and it will always have sellers. It's just the way it is. So, we've got to go up. Uh, Maybe we break on through. Maybe we stop here and pull back and test. But until it gets up over that line, right in there, um, and we're going to have to take out this nasty, nasty top of 196.05. Unless that happens, um, Nvidia is no help to this market. Nvidia can only hurt this market. So it can only be helpful if it's over 196. It's the only time Nvidia is going to be helpful. Otherwise, it's just going to hurt the market. Transports. Look at the transports. The only good thing I can say about the transports is that it's sitting on a 200 period moving average, and maybe, just maybe, that will create some buying and a relief rally off the 200. Take a look at IBIT. All right, I'm starting to get a little serious about IBIT. I would really like to buy it, and I'm starting to think about it. We're down here to some lows, nearing a double bottom. Nice gap down. I like that gap down because to me, what one of the things about candlesticks that you can see visually is when we're down, 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 and then there's a gap to the downside. That's to me, that's a sign that finally the traders that's been holding it, that's been fretting, they finally gave up. They finally threw the towel in, gapped it down, and now smart money starts buying it a little lower. Doesn't mean it can't go lower, it can. But I think we're entering an area where IBIT might be starting to move up. ETHA, same thing. Here we are. Let's move that down. There we go. See, we're right here sitting on that price action of May, June, July of last year. And let's see if that can't build a bottom. And something I'll be looking for is a low to a high to higher low, and then break out. Or maybe this thing just wants to kind of cruise a little bit sideways on that. But I'd keep an eye on some of those. Okay. All right. Let me fix something up here. This doesn't. There we go. Now I can see what you guys are typing. Let's see here. Hey, coach. Yeah, singles and doubles, and you will score plenty of runs. You're absolutely right. I think what he means by singles or doubles are like, say, a 9% gain or a 10% gain, a single or a double. Um, you can score those, and man, you can make a lot of money on those. And taking profits, that's what happens. Those singles, doubles. Um, so yeah, I'm with you on that. Hey Sharon, good morning. You're looking at some TSM support lines. You know, I can see some possible support right through there, and that's about where we are right now. But we need to see some follow through. Okay, that is just so important. So if we can hold above that with some kind of a bullish candle, that would make a difference. Because yesterday was a dark candle day, something like this. So it's not going to be a belt hold, but it could be um, a, piercing candle, and uh, it could be a piercing candle. That would be a sign that, okay, maybe buyers are staying in if it holds during the day, all through the day. That could be that sign. But ultimately, we're going to have to get past this area here, basically the 50 period. But I would watch today's candle. I mean, what are you giving up? Buying it, right away, you're giving up 3, 4%. I'm not there would about right there would be a piercing candle, 4%. But if you do buy, just keep that stop on there, because the next stop to the downside will be that 100. And from there, the next stop down is that dotted deuce, which puts you on this, what is this, late July, August, September price shelf right in there. So if we continue down, you don't want to get caught in that, I don't think. AMD, and AMD would be about the same way. AMD doesn't have support till it gets down here. That's all. That's just the way it is. It's floating in midair right now. That's all. That's what AMD is doing. Just floating in air. Support is not till we get down here. You've got this big old gap. So this is one of those that if it wants to lift up, let it lift up. But let's put in a good candle. Uh, Halfway up, this dark candle would be a piercing candle. That would be a sign, I think. Okay, buyers may be stepping in, and that's if it closes today up there. Looks like it's going to open about right here. So halfway up would be that piercing candle. So I'd watch for that. Hey, Mike, you're looking at FRPT. Um, Yeah, rounded bottom breakout, but I think we need to see it pop up a little bit. But it does have all the makings for that. Yes, it does. Um, yeah, it does actually. Let's take this line here and let's draw that trend line. So tag, tag, you're it. We need the buyers to step in. We need to push up a little bit. Right here is the construction area right there. Yeah, that's the construction area. So we need to break out of that, but I get it, buying on bullishness in here. I get that. We need to break out, and that would take you up to the dotted deuce up here, probably. Thoughts on AT&T long? Um, yeah, that's looking pretty good actually. Um, yeah, I like the bottom, nice double bottom rally. You've got a nice flag in here. So I would have to say that if we could hold up today, yeah, let's flag that one. That might be looking kind of long there. To the 50 is only 3%, but AT&T is one of those slow. It's not a rip your head off, make you a ton of money. It's just a steady eddy. Yeah, it can be a steady eddy. So yeah, I'm with you there, Derek. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Let's let's peek at a few shorts if anyone is looking at some shorts here. Um, there were a lot more this morning, but things are picking up a little bit. Um, Take a look at QS. It has not given a signal to turn up yet. So right now the trend is still down. We've got that 3/8 trap. It could easily slide down a little bit into that dotted deuce or that 200 up here. Let's see here. KEG, CEG. It's here. It's rallied up. It came down hard yesterday, and we're sitting in that 3/8 trap bear right now. See AA. We're sitting in that 3/8 trap bear right now. Could turn out to be blue eyes failure. Hey Daryl, you're looking at EOSE. Yeah. Yeah. I'm. Are you? Let's see. You just have any direction. Oh, blue eyes failure. There you go. Yeah. So here we are down, and what we've got is a bear flag here. So yeah, that could easily slip down to the downside. Down there. There's something else too. A bear flag is kind of it's part of a bullish move too. So we have to watch for that. And it's a bear flag. We do have this bottom, and we seem to be setting up. if the market was to catch some gas somewhere, um, this could be your base, and we could rally up. But right now, below the 50, yeah, I would look at that to the short side for sure. AEM, oops, AEM. Nope, what's going on, Rick? AEM. There we go. AEM. Possible short selling coming. It could be, yeah. Um, right now we've got nothing but higher lows in here. Um, if we take these lows here, put a line there, we're trying to put that wedge right in there. It's all about what we do with that 50 period moving average right now. So many stocks are so close to it. It really is what we do with that. So putting in a hammer, could that pull up enough to give us some bullish activity? It could, and it would set us up for a possible short to the downside. Absolutely. Let's see, Yorena, you're looking at SMH short. I would let it bounce a little bit. I would let it bounce a little bit and then see if we get the sell signal up here near 50 on that. And then SOX, SO, 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 SOX, There we go. SOX. Yeah, that's long. I think this is one that I posted in the on Facebook and X this morning. Uh, target right there. So if the sellers continue to come in the market, then SOX would be a nice run somewhere above that 550, below 600, and then base out and then maybe try to scoot up even higher. Like we did. While I'm here, let me VIX. Let's look at that. This is another one I posted in Facebook and X this morning, and um, here we are right there at that top. This is a viable target up here. So there's nothing, if somebody looks at, well, VXX is making a double top, I'm going to say, so what? So what? It's trending up. Double top just means it might stall for just a little bit. It can break through that in a heartbeat. That nothing about that suggests bearishness coming in with any great value. So watch that VIX, the fear meter. We could slide right up there to that 34 area. And that would be the 50% retracement from near the highs, not the exact high, down to the lows here. UU short. Yeah, right now it's still headed to the downside. Um, it's under that 100. It's underneath yesterday's candle. Dot induced target. Um, what we just you just be careful things don't catch fire and start moving up. But right now it's definitely a short. All right. You guys think that's about it? Are we good to go? Be careful today. Being Friday and all, there might be some profit taking, and uh, and also I think it's important to monitor that last hour of the day and how the market closes, um, whether we're above that 100 period moving average or below it. I would watch that because that could be a real clue how we go into next week. Hey Jim, yeah, Google is rocking. Google is rocking. Oh, hey, I wrote NGD in UNG down. This may be setting up for a buy or boil. Some people trade boil. That's looking really good there. So UNG boil, 5%. All right, you guys take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, members. I'll see you at the bottom of the hour, about 30 minutes from now. Okay, you guys all take care. Thank you.